We're going to be talking about record and documentation keeping, and I know that sounds like a really boring title, and I should have came up with something fun and exciting, because record and document keeping. So I want to ask you guys, have you ever needed an important piece of paper and you couldn't find it?
Yes.
All the time. And how did that make you feel when you couldn't find that piece of paper?
Stress.
Stressed.
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Irritated. Yeah. So then, if you can't find that piece of paper and you've torn your whole house apart looking for it, and you've experienced stress, frustration, irritation, you can't find anything, what's your next step?
Appreciation for steps.
What's that?
I was retracing my steps, but I can't find it.
Yeah. You guys end up calling somebody else that might have that piece of paper or
A relative,
document,
or
a
like
relative,
someone
somebody,
closer.
yeah. So it ends up taking up a whole bunch of time when you can't find what you're looking for. And so then you either have to go and request for another copy of your social security card or your birth certificate or whatever else it is. So, keeping your documentation and how to keep it is not something that you were taught in school, I'm guessing, because I wasn't. So did you ever take a class in high school on what is important to keep? How long you keep stuff? So I started thinking about all these things, and I'm a few years older than you guys, and I've been doing this for a long time. And when I moved out on my own, I didn't know how to file stuff or what stuff was important to keep or how long to keep stuff. And so I've just been doing it and figuring out what things we need to do, what things are important to keep, and keeping them in an area so that when you need them, you're not stressed out looking for them. So that's how I kind of came up with a lot of this stuff, because it's a lot of stuff that I've been doing for a long time, and so it's important stuff. And you can do it on a big scale or you can do it on a small scale. And what I mean by that is that at your age, you're not going to have a ton of stuff that you have to keep filed. The older you get, the more filing cabinets you have to have, and your whole life is in a file cabinet. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys the tools and some of the steps that will make it easier for you when you need those important pieces of documents and why you need those things, okay? So the first question that's on there is, who's responsible for your stuff?
Yourself.
Yourself, right? So you're all over 18, you're all legal adults, and so now it's time for you to be responsible for your things and not have to call somebody else to get a document that you should already have in your possession. Okay, so you need to take control of your life and be an adult and have all of those things at your disposal, okay? So how many of you guys get mail? Does everybody get mail? Okay. What do you guys do when you get your mail?
Throw it away.
All of it?
No.
Practically.
Do you look at it before you throw it away?
Just keep my mail drawer.
You have a mail drawer.
I do too.
I
Yeah.
have
So
mail
when you
closet.
get your mail, do you look at it before it goes in your mail drawer?
Yeah.
No.
I usually keep it on the table and then I let it set.
And yep. Okay. So, do you ever go back into your mail drawer? You do.
Yeah.
And you look at what's in the mail drawer?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get rid of anything in your mail drawer?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if it's unnecessary, it's been like years and years ago.
Years and years. Okay, so one of the first things, because you guys will receive your own mail if you have your own address, you're living on your own, and the first step when you're getting your mail is to open your mail, right? And then you can categorize your mail when it comes in. So you're gonna have a trash pile, this is trash stuff I don't ever need, and throw that away. You might have bills that need to be paid. That's going to go in a stack, maybe a drawer that you've got, your bills that you need to pay. Any other documentation. Maybe you get a magazine, and you're not going to read it right then, but you can have your read pile, your to-do pile, which would be bills. Maybe you got a new car insurance sticker or something. So that's something that you're going to have to take care of. And then trash. So get rid of the trash, get rid of the stuff that you don't need to keep so that you don't have piles and piles and piles and piles of mail. I know a lot of people that do not open their mail when they first get it, it's really important to do that because you may have time sensitive stuff that you're getting in the mail, a bill that needs to be paid, something that needs your signature. You know, you might need attention to it. So you may not need to do it that day, but you need to like have it here that that's something that you need to be taking care of. You need to be opening your mail if you get bank statements. Does everybody get bank statements in the mail?
No, I get the where they send it to your email.
To your
or it's
email?
on the app.
Do you open it and look at it when it comes into your email?
No.
So that's opening mail as well, right? So it could be opening your mail in an email format as well. So why do you think it might be important to open that up and look at it, or open up your hard copy of a bank statement or a credit card statement or something like that?
So something
budget.
could,
What's that?
To budget your money.
Yeah, it will help you budgeting your money. Why else?
just in case something's being charged that you didn't charge it to it.
Yep, fraud. There's tons and tons of fraud that's going on. And so if you look at it immediately, you're going to know, gosh, I've never been to, you know, Tommy's Burgers ever. And you've got a charge on there, or shopping at Macy's or something like that. So you can handle that immediately. Well, if you don't open it and look at it and 6 months down the road, you're going to be like, when did I do that? I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember what I did 6 months ago. So it's important to look at it immediately so then you can recognize charges on your account that do not belong to you, and you can take care of that immediately. So whether you're getting your notifications via email or paper copy, it's important to review it and look at it and take care of anything that's on there that you did not look at. Okay, so I have a question for you guys because this was something that we've been talking about here in the office, and I know that you guys all have case managers and they're working with you on your budgets and all that kind of stuff, your accounts and everything. So how many of you have your own bank account? Everybody. Do you have a bank account? Yeah. Do you have anybody else listed on your bank account? No? Okay. Awesome. That's great. Okay. You guys need to be in charge of your own, because a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you've been in foster care or not in foster care, when you opened up your first bank account, you probably had to have somebody co-sign on it for you, or had to have somebody that was over the age of 18 on your account. So anytime you have somebody on your account, they have access to all the same information that you do. So if you have somebody on your account, they have access to do what with your money? Spend it. So you want to make sure that if you are the sole responsible person of your finances, that you are the person that is on that account. Okay, that's super important. Okay, so why is it important to keep all of your documents?
So no one doesn't try to create a fake identity of yourself?
Yep.
Or they can
Yeah.
open up the same bank account as you?
Yep. Yep. Why else might it be important?
For future reference.
Yes, very good. Yeah. So you have access to them when you need them, right? You don't always need your social security card or a copy of your birth certificate. You don't always need that, but there's going to be a time that you do need that, and when you need it, you want to alleviate the stress in your life of having to go and look for it, right? So you want to make sure that you're keeping those documents. You want to know where they are so that you can get to it immediately, okay? It's going to save you a ton of time. If you already know ahead of time where that stuff is, you're not going to have to spend time looking for it, digging for it, calling somebody else for it. We have a lot of people who need, you guys have to turn in verification of income, of what money you guys are receiving, right? And so you have specific people that you have to turn that into. So if you're not keeping, so like your paycheck stubs or the bottom part of your THP check, I mean, you don't have to tell me who, but people call me all the time and they say, oh, I've got to turn in verification for this, that, and the other, and can you give me copies of my check or the bottom part of the check? And it's like, well, you guys have it. You guys need to keep it. So you guys have to spend time calling me to ask me for documentation, and then that takes time out of my day getting you something that I already gave you the first time I gave it to you. So that's another reason why it's really important, is because there are times that you're going to need those pieces of documents, right? Paycheck stubs, whatever it is that you have on there, okay? So you want to make sure that you have all of that easily at your access. Okay. Any questions on that? No? So one of the things that I have learned, and these are all things that have happened probably in the last couple years, is I'm really good at keeping all my receipts for everything. And then I keep them in an envelope. When my statement comes in, I look at my statement, make sure that the charges match the receipts. And I know that that sounds like a lot of work, but I'll tell you this, that I find a lot of times that the tip amount that the waitress or whoever it is, they added a zero when there wasn't a zero. I've had money come out that shouldn't have came out. We were traveling, we went to a restaurant, and we got hardly anything, left a $7 tip. Well, guess what? They added a zero to the $7 tip. So my charge there was $70 more than what we had spent. So it was something like $20 was our total. But I'm like, what the heck? I don't remember spending that much money. So we get out the receipt, look at the receipt, and it's like, what was a $7 tip? So
I always, for that, I always make sure that I put the full number with like the, like
The total.
7.00.
what, that was all in there, but they changed, it got changed. So anyway, so I had to go and make a phone call and but it's a hassle. But I was glad that I had that because I needed proof that that's what it was. And so I had to make a copy of it, send it to them. They gave us our money back. But it's really important. And a lot of times they just add $1, they'll add just $1 here, $1 there, and it happens all the time. So I always make sure that I keep my receipts, and then when everything comes in, I'm looking at it, making sure that the charge that I have is the same charge that's on my account. And then once I've verified it, I get rid of all my receipts, unless it's a receipt that's an important receipt that you need to keep. If it's a major purchase, something like that. So, it would be nice to think that everybody's honest and, nobody's going to take extra money out of your account. Has anybody ever had that happen to them? You have? So
Yeah.
what happened?
It was my credit card.
Mhm.
Somebody kept charging my card for like the movie rentals, the red box.
Yeah.
It was like in a whole other state. I kept calling my card and telling them to cancel it, and I want a new card. And it happened like twice, so they did it, and then like stopped happening after that.
Yeah. Yep. So that, again, did you find out really quick?
Yeah.
That
Well, every day
happened?
when I buy something, either with my debit card or credit card, I check the transaction and see if it posted to make sure it's the same amount that I just bought. And
Yeah.
That's just a habit that I do.
Yeah, that's a
Even
great
right now,
habit.
when I went to the bank to pay for the EYF, I just checked it and I had more money in there than I expected, and I don't even know where it came from.
Well, that's a nice surprise.
Right.
Yeah. So it's real important because if you wait 6 months down the road before you are looking at your account, and then it's like all piled up. So that's a really good habit, real good habit to be in. So, okay. So I kind of have a little cheat sheet, but I wanted you guys to write some things down before I hand that out to you. So what kind of documentation or important papers do you think is important to keep? You can just shout them out.
Bank statements,
Bank statements, what? Check stubs,
birth certificate,
birth certificates,
social.
social,
A medical card, like
Yep.
life insurance or something.
yeah, any kind of insurance, auto, health insurance. If you have home insurance or renter's insurance, immunization records. Yeah, you guys have those?
I always forget about it. Whenever I go to my son's appointment, I'm like, oh, I left it.
Yeah. So bank statements, credit card statements, bills that you might have coming in. How about this one? Does anybody keep a record of their property inventory?
Like what is
Like
clothes and stuff?
Or probably more like a TV, Game Boy. I don't even know if that's what you guys call them anymore, but like the Xbox. Thank you. Things that maybe cost a little bit of money that would be, if you got broken into and somebody stole your TV or your Xbox, your cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone, I'm assuming. Anything that might be of any kind of value and would be expensive for you to replace. Okay, so does everybody have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Are your phones all smartphones? Like you can take pictures, you can do all that. That's one of the easiest ways to record your personal property is just take pictures of it and leave them on your phone. And if something ever gets stolen, you have a picture of it. Maybe take a picture of the what's that number on them?
Serial code?
Serial number. Thank you. So take a picture of the serial number, whatever it is. So then you have record of that being your personal property. Okay, so that's important to have. How many of you have your own car? Yeah, so you have car insurance? Yes. Yeah, so do you own the car?
Yes.
You do. Okay, so you have the title to your car, right? So that's
It's not in my name.
okay. So when you get it, you'll have that piece of paper that says that the car belongs to you. So that's an important piece of paper to keep. If your car gets stolen or anything like that, you're going to have the piece of paper that says that the car belongs to you. Okay. So driver's license. Everybody have a driver's license or an ID. That's important. Piece of paper or document to have. Sometimes I always keep a file that has like all of our current stuff, like copy of a driver's license, and keep that in the file. So if you do lose it, you've got you have a copy of it. Okay, birth certificate. Does everybody have their birth certificate?
Yeah.
So that's an important
I
document.
even have copies.
Yeah. You don't ever want to give somebody your original birth certificate.
Nope.
Okay, so those are all important things that you need to keep on hand. Okay, so the next question, which is kind of a tricky question because you don't want to end up with a backlog of papers that you just keep piling up, is how long do you keep
A year?
these pieces of information, right? So,
Depending on what it is.
depending on what it is, yep, yeah. So what kind of things do you think you should keep permanently?
Birth certificate, social security card?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you guys file taxes?
Oh, the tax. So bad at that.
Yeah. So if you file taxes, you want to permanently keep your tax returns, right? That's information that you guys need to keep, and keep that in your possession. Okay. What else?
Like anything that has your identity on it, I guess.
Yeah, you have stuff that maybe you have legal papers or
Like contracts.
yeah, stuff like that you might need to keep. You might need to keep permanently. Okay, so I have a piece of paper that I'll give you that has a few things on there, and it's just kind of a guideline of how long you should keep those documents. So it's different with your bank statement. So once you've verified your bank statement, everything's cleared that is supposed to be on that bank statement. You've matched your receipts. You've done whatever you need to do to make sure that all those charges are yours. Then you don't have to keep it past a month. I go overboard, so I keep everything for a year and then I kind of start all over again. So if I ever have to go back and reference something, I have the ability to do that. Nowadays, there's so much stuff that's digital and online, and they don't keep it permanently either. But you have the ability to go back and look at it at least for a year. Okay, so bank statements, credit card statements, your pay stubs. So if you have a job, what do you get at the end of the year when you're getting ready to file taxes?
W-2?
Get a W-2. So what you need to be doing, and this is why it's also important to keep your paycheck stub, is you're going to verify that on your W-2. You want to make sure that your W-2 is recording accurately how much you made during the year, so that when you're filing taxes, you have the correct information. Okay. So then after that year, you don't need to keep that once you have the W-2 and the W-2 is correct. Okay. So anything like a utility bill, cable bill, cell phone bill, any of that stuff, you know, you can keep it for a month, as long as you make sure that everything has cleared and it's all correct. The other thing is, how many of you guys turn in a money order for your EYF? So not a check. Does anybody write a check and turn it in? Yeah? Okay, so if you're turning in a money order, you always get a receipt for the money order, correct? Super important to keep copies of your receipts, because if you lose that, you then have the ability to go and have them cancel that money order, or at least talk to them and figure out how you can get a new one processed. So real important to make sure that you're keeping those. And then once the check is cleared and it's already turned in and everything's processed, you don't have to keep those. Okay. You guys have any questions on any of that?
Did we answer the last question?
No, we're not there yet. Is it the where and how?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, where do you guys keep your important documents? I know you said in a drawer, right? So, in a folder? Is that where you keep everything? In a folder? And then where do you keep the folder? In a drawer? Okay.
I keep mine like in a laptop bag, but I like lock it because it has like my social.
Uh-huh. Yep. Anybody else?
I just put it in a backpack.
In a backpack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a folder in a closet.
A folder in a closet?
Yeah.
Okay. How many don't know where their important stuff is right now? Yep. So, one of the things that is a good tool to have, and there's all different kinds, we just made this one up right now, but is a file box. So they make them, you know, have you seen them where they're like the plastic carry file boxes? And when our kids moved out, that was one of the gifts I gave them when they moved out. I gave them a file box with little folders in it so that they had that to start with. And you know, this is where all of your important stuff, you know, goes in. And so anyway, so something like this would be handy. It could be, you know, like a locked file box. A lot of you guys probably have a roommate and you want to make sure that your stuff is safe and secure. So they make, I think it's like, they're like the plastic file boxes, and they have the little holes on the end, and so you can put like a little combination lock or something on it, and that's going to keep your documents safe. So if you have all of your important stuff in one spot, God forbid if we were to have any kind of natural disaster, or your apartment caught on fire, or there was a flood. That's hard to believe that there'd be a flood in Bakersfield, but
Miracles happen.
yeah.
It's not a miracle.
And so, I mean, anything could happen, right? So if you need important stuff when you're leaving in an emergency, you want to make sure it's all in the same spot. It's a lot easier to just grab your box and leave your house rather than have to go digging, you know, in your room, or where is that piece of paper? And because if you have had to go and get your documents, if you've had to go and get a copy of a Social Security card or your birth certificate, I mean, it's not super easy, right? You have to have all the right pieces of paper and know where to go and what to do, and it can be kind of time consuming. So much easier if you keep it all in the same spot, okay? So you could do something like this, and the plastic one, something, a cardboard box, anything that's gonna keep it in one spot and easy for you to access your information, okay? So I just put a few things on here. You guys can customize it however you want to do it based on what information you have coming in and what you need to keep, okay? So I keep at my house, like I'll have a file that says personal documents. So inside my personal documents would be a copy of Social Security card. It might even actually be my Social Security card in there because I don't carry it with me. I do not keep my Social Security card on my person. So that might be in there, a copy of birth certificates or my original birth certificate, copy of my driver's license. So any of my personal information that I need to have on hand, I keep inside a personal document folder. You don't need a folder for each different one that you're doing. Okay, so you might have bank statements. So if you're keeping those for a year, then you need to have a place that you're going to keep them if you're not looking at them online, but if you actually have a hard copy. So you'd have something like that. Bills. So you want to have something on hand so that you can go in and look at it and know when you've got to pay stuff. So if you've got rent that you're paying, if you have a car payment or car insurance, you want to have a place that you can keep them and access them easily. Okay, receipts. So you may have receipts that you need to keep on hand, whether it's a check that you wrote for your EYF or rent or whatever, where you've got the little check stub on the bottom of it that you need to keep a copy of it. If you purchase something, if you bought a TV and maybe the TV has a 1-year warranty, you want to keep your receipt and the documentation that came with your TV or whatever it is that you bought that might have a warranty. Because if you don't have it, then you can't prove when you bought it or what the warranty is. So you might even have a file that says warranties, you know, for things like that you might have purchased, okay? This one, so this would be current taxes. So I have this file, and what this file for me helps me to do is keep track of everything that I'm gonna need at the end of the year when I'm filing for my taxes. So every time I get a paycheck stub, it goes in my file. Yeah, I mean, I don't do anything with it until I'm getting ready to do my taxes, but then I have to go looking for it. If I make a donation and I need to record that donation, that goes in my file. Anything that you know that you are going to need for filing for taxes would go in there. If you paid DMV fees on your car, you're gonna wanna put a copy of that inside this file. And then when it's tax time and you've gotta go and file for your taxes, you take your folder, you've got everything in there, you don't need to go looking for it. Or call somebody to help you get that information. Okay? Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Any other things that you can think of that you would keep in here?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you say it's important to keep your tax documents, like after you do your taxes. What happens if somebody else was to take your documents? Because like, I went to the free tax place, did my taxes, and I had a black folder for my program I completed. And as soon as I left, somebody stole my black folder that had everything in it.
Somebody that worked there, or?
No, somebody on the street, because I put it on my car. I was about to get in my car, but I talked to my girlfriend, and then we turned back around and she gone.
Had you already filed your taxes?
And
Okay.
then I just got the folder they gave me and I put it in there.
So was it the completed tax return?
Completed tax return.
Well, I would contact them and see if they have like an electronic copy of it. Usually they keep electronic copies of your tax returns. So I would check with them first and see if they have to have a copy, something, because they filed it. So they would have to have something. You know, I just would make sure that you're watching all of your stuff, because I'm sure that had your social security number on it, and
It's already crap, there's no folder.
yeah, so you just got to be real careful, you know. So, and that would be something else. I mean, I have a couple boxes, and I keep all my tax returns not in this type of a file box, but I have a whole nother box where I just keep my tax returns in. So if I need it, they're all in one place. But that's what I would do. I would go there first and see if they could get you something. Yeah, because you guys probably don't have a whole lot of years that you've been filing for your taxes, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure that you can at least get a copy of it so that you have that. Yeah. Any other questions? No. Am I boring you guys?
No.
You're quiet. Is it because you came in late?
Yeah, so put me on the spot.
Huh? Yeah. No questions, really?
I'm so tired. I'm sorry.
Are you? That's fine.
I work overnight, so I just
Oh, do you?
I
Night
didn't
shifts?
sleep yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
guys need help making those boxes, we can help you too.
Why don't you turn that into just a class? Make a box, put it in the box.
Yeah, you could do that too, huh? Bring all your piles and drawers of paperwork. Get them all organized. You know, I know that if you're just starting to do that, it can seem overwhelming. Like if you have a lot of paperwork, and the best thing to do is just start sorting it. So if you've got a huge overflowing drawer or piles on your table, just start processing it. Just get trash can out, toss the trash, put your important stuff that you need to look at in a pile, and stuff that maybe you can look at later or read or whatever you need to take care of later. But just start it. It's easier to do it now than to wait 20 years from now to decide to get all that stuff organized, because you're going to have a whole lot more stuff 20 years from now. It'll probably fill an entire closet. So it's important just to start that now and make sure that you've got all that stuff together. So how many of you are parents? Okay, so it's important to keep documentation on your children and be able to give them that information when they become an adult. And how many of you emancipated from foster care and they gave you your birth certificate, your social security card? Did anybody have to go and get it? Or was it given to you?
Well, I did have to get another social security card.
You had to go get the real copy of it?
Social security
Yeah.
administration.
Yeah. So how much easier would it have been if somebody just handed you a file with all your important documents in it and said, here you go,
It actually was
go
that
be an
easy.
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to do that once you have children, to keep all of their documentation together inside of a file, okay? Their immunization records, birth certificate. Because if they're not school age, you're gonna need that to get them in school as well. So it'd be easy just to have it all in one place so that you can get it and get them signed up for what they need to be signed up for. Yeah? Is she in kindergarten yet?
Like, she's gonna be in kindergarten. She was in TK already.
Okay. Do you like school? Yeah. Yeah.
She loves it. The night before, she goes, "Is it time for school? Is it time for school?" I'm like, "Yes."
What was your teacher's name?
Miss Minnie.
Miss Minnie? Yeah. She nice?
She called her best friend.
Oh.
The teacher called her best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so is this information helpful for you guys?
Very much so.
Yeah? Does it challenge you to go home and get your stuff together and organized?
For them. Have a lot.
Gonna be another folder in the
Yeah.
closet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's, nobody teaches you how to do this stuff, and and it can be overwhelming if you've not ever been in control of your paperwork or your documents, and now you have to, figure out what you're going to do with them, how you keep them, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to pass this around. This is kind of like the items of what to keep, and then just a guide for how long to keep them. Okay. Oh, the other thing, when you're getting rid of paperwork, do you shred, or do you just toss stuff in the trash
I
can?
need a shredder.
I'll rip it.
I rip
Like,
it
I'll rip
into
really
little
many
pieces.
pieces.
Yeah,
I don't got
basically.
no shredder.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah.
I make sure what I like when I
Cut
look
it
at.
up, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cut it.
No, I have a lot of
Or like
information.
with my address, usually I'll chop it up.
Yeah.
As my-
Yeah. It is amazing how much stuff gets just tossed in the trash can that has personal information on it. Date of birth, a social security number, your address, whatever it is. Make sure that you are destroying any personal information that you are not keeping, because you do not want that to get into the hands of somebody that is going to use it for bad.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to steal your identity, they're going to take money out of your accounts, and it is a nightmare to
Get it all back.
get all of that fixed. And if you have been a victim of identity theft, it is a huge nightmare. And so you need to do your part to make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay, so don't leave personal stuff laying around. If you have roommates or other people that are coming in and out of your home, you want to make sure that all that stuff is somewhere where somebody does not have access to it. Okay? Yeah, so shredding, cutting it up, getting rid of it, burning it, Actually, you gotta check and see if it's a burn day, if you're gonna burn your,
Yeah.
burn your stuff. But make sure that you are getting rid of things that need to be destroyed. Okay? Anything else?
Number.
No questions? Okay, I'm gonna be over at your houses in 2 days, and I'm gonna be checking your file boxes and the contents of your file boxes. Just kidding. Not. Yeah, just something that is, easy and, makes it easy for you guys to have all your information. Now, you said you have yours in a backpack. Do you carry it with you everywhere you go, or no?
I just leave it in my closet. So if I ever need it, I can just go to it.
Yeah,
But I like when I first got my car, all the paperwork I had to sign, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I just put it all in.
yeah. A lot of people leave all their stuff in their car too, which I would not recommend leaving your stuff in your car in case your car disappears and then all of your important documentations
That
are
happened to
Along
my
with
friend.
inside your car.
That happened to
So,
my friend. It was all she had all her kids' social. She has like 4 kids,
it's all gone.
all gone because
Oh,
they
wow.
stole the car and everything.
Yeah.
So her car and all her identities.
Yeah, but she fixed it. She tried, but
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult once it happens, and
yeah.
it's
And
hard to
then
go.
for-
Oh, if only I did this. And yeah.
And then
it
as
is.
a parent, you probably feel bad too because it's
Heck
not even
yeah,
your own.
yeah. Like you're already
Yeah.
you're practically messing up their
Better stuff.
growing up
Yep.
when they get older.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting how people. I know this guy who, you know how he knows when it's time to pay his phone bill? When his phone's turned off. Is that what you do that too? Like, why not pay it before so you don't have to go through the hassle of getting it turned back on? But it's like he always had, like, there'd be a couple days each month where it's like you can't reach him.
I get a notification.
Huh?
I get a notification.
Yeah, well, that's
of
smart
like
to set up.
when it's due.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. But yeah, you don't want to find out it's time to pay your rent when they're giving you a 3-day notice.
It's like,
Yeah. So having your bills in one spot where you can go look at it, make sure that you're paying, or how many times have you ever paid something and then you forget you paid it? Like, oh gosh, did I pay my phone bill this month? Or
yeah.
did I pay
Like my
rent?
Wi-Fi.
I don't know
And
if
I'll
I
pay
paid
extra.
it or not. Yeah. Then you go make a double payment and now you have less money.
I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, so if you keep that stuff in your file, you can go back and oh yeah, okay, I did pay. I did pay. So it's a good reference if you're keeping a copy of what you've already paid as well.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
I do that a lot. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, on the back of your question sheet, I printed off for you guys. This is kind of like that I found. It's from the American Red Cross, so it's kind of like a preparedness thing, and so it just kind of lists maybe what information that would be important for you to keep in one spot in case of an emergency. Okay, so that's just kind of a little checklist, and we talked about most of those. So it's important to just to review that and be aware of some of the things that you might need to keep on hand in the event of an emergency. If you have to leave your house immediately, what kind of things would you need to take with you?
Yeah.
Okay? All right, well, I hope this was helpful for you guys and that you can start getting your stuff together and have easy access to it and make your lives stress-free and less irritated and all those things that not being organized can cause you.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks.
Kind of makes
Thank
me,
you.
yeah.